Will the S&P 500 reach 6,600? One of the boldest market calls of the year. Tom Lee from Fundstrat just said it on CNBC's Squawk box. One of the boldest market calls of the year. The bull market is back. For anyone uncertain about where the market is headed, this analysis will provide crucial context and actionable insights. Tom Lee's bullish target isn't just a headline. It's built on a macroeconomic landscape that's stronger than many realize. From cooling inflation to a potentially more dovish Fed and even the momentum in Bitcoin, Lee's perspective offers a fresh look at what's driving markets right now. According to Tom Lee, the recent market rally isn't the end of a cycle. It's the start of a new one. The sharp decline into April's lows reset investor sentiment, with hedge funds rapidly deleveraging and panic dominating headlines. But instead of a collapse, the market rebounded, and the S&P 500 is now near 5,900, making Lee's 6,600 target more realistic than ever. Lee points to the ISM Manufacturing Index as a key indicator. Historically, market tops require the ISM to stay above 50 for a sustained period. With the index still below 50, Lee sees this as early cycle behavior, not late cycle exhaustion. He also highlights housing as a potential growth driver in 2026, suggesting businesses are better positioned now than earlier in the year. Inflation, a major concern for many, is actually trending lower, defying expectations. Lee notes that most of the inflation over the past 2 years came from housing and auto insurance, together accounting for about 75% of the rise. Now, with housing subtracting from inflation month over month, core inflation could continue to ease even if goods prices rise slightly. This opens the door for the Fed to cut rates multiple times this year, a potential game changer for both stocks and risk assets. But the story doesn't stop with stocks. Bitcoin is back in the spotlight, and Lee's outlook is as bullish as it gets. Tom Lee sees Bitcoin consolidating after its recent all-time high, but the long-term setup is, well, really compelling. With 95% of all Bitcoin already mined and only a fraction of the world's population actually owning any, there's just this massive supply-demand imbalance. Lee predicts Bitcoin could reach $150,000, $200,000, or even $250,000 by year-end, driven by global liquidity and a more dovish Fed. Looking even further ahead, Lee believes Bitcoin could eventually match or even surpass gold's $23 trillion market cap, which would imply a price north of $1.2 million per coin, and honestly, potentially as high as $2 to $3 million in the very long term. The scarcity of Bitcoin, combined with rising global demand and increasing institutional adoption, creates a pretty powerful setup for future gains. As more investors look for alternatives to traditional assets, Bitcoin's role as digital gold just becomes more central to diversified portfolios. With a new bull market potentially underway and Bitcoin poised for explosive growth, which stocks stand to benefit the most? First up, Palantir Technologies, ticker symbol PLTR. This data analytics and AI powerhouse is really making waves in both government and commercial sectors. In 2025, Palantir reported a 39% year-over-year revenue jump in the first quarter, driven by a whopping 71% surge in U.S. commercial revenue. The company even raised its full-year revenue guidance to nearly $3.9 billion, with operating margins improving to 44% and a Rule of 40 score of 83%, which is a strong balance of growth and profitability. Palantir's platforms, Gotham and Foundry, are right at the forefront of data-driven decision-making, serving clients from federal agencies all the way to Fortune 500 companies. Even though there are concerns over its high valuation, the stock hit an all-time high of $133 in May and, well, it remains in an upward trend, with analysts forecasting further gains if the current momentum continues. Next up is Lam Research, ticker symbol LRCX. Now, Lam is really a cornerstone of the semiconductor industry. providing the essential equipment that's needed for advanced chip manufacturing. In the first quarter of 2025, Lam reported $4.72 billion in revenue, which is up 7.9% quarter-over-quarter, and they posted record gross margins of 49%. The outlook for June 2025 is looking even stronger, with revenue guidance coming in at $5 billion. Lam's leadership in etching and deposition technology, along with a shareholder-friendly dividend and a high return on equity, makes it a real standout in the sector. Both Palantir and Lam Research are positioned to benefit from the ongoing digital transformation, the adoption of AI, and continued demand for semiconductors. Palantir's expanding commercial footprint, paired with Lam's entrenched role in the chip supply chain, offers some real growth potential for investors who are looking to get in on tech's next wave. Tom Lee's bullish thesis is built on data, macro trends, and honestly, a contrarian read of sentiment resets. Now, whether or not the S&P 500 hits 6,600 or Bitcoin reaches 250,000 this year, the broader message is pretty clear. Opportunity exists for those willing to look beyond the headlines. As always, do your own research, stay diversified, and keep an eye on the fundamentals, because the next phase of the market could be just beginning.